Along the way recently, I kind of realized that I don't think I want to be an influencer. Like, it's starting to feel a bit bereft. Like, I think influencing has kind of come to a place where people are willing to do, say, and promote anything for $1. I think a lot about Deontay Cal and dick pills and gambling. Like, those are two things that he won't promote, which I respect it because he has his morals and his limits and his bounds of what he won't share on his platform because of how impactful it is on his target audience, but also on just black folks in general. But I think there are a lot of people in the influencing space who don't give a about anything and are willing to sell anybody anything for the sake of $1. And I think for me, like, I've been kind of wrestling with it for a while because when I first started making content, the goal was very clear. The goal was to, in 2021, making content on TikTok, the goal was to land some sort of deal as to where I was able to kind of create income from social media to supplement whatever I wanted to do and to just have my way with this and like be able to be a lawyer and also be able to make money from TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. But somewhere along the way, I don't know, people just started making content. I think it happened with TikTok Shop becoming integrated to the platform. One, everything started to feel an ad, and TikTok really changed the nature of its engagement, and it stopped going from being a place where we could really engage with each other and have impactful conversations and talk and be thoughtful, and really became more of a platform where people were trying to sell and promote whatever it is they had to sell at the time, be that some product or some type of, gimmick or whatever. And I've sold shit on TikTok Shop before too, books plenty of times, so I'm not exempt from that or excluded from the people who sell stuff on TikTok Shop at all. But when every other video I see is somebody selling shorts or somebody selling a wife beater or somebody selling socks, like, I don't care that much. And then also you have the problem with everything else being an ad. There's also people who are making TikTok content that feels reminiscent of the things that kind of got me involved with the platform, the things that kind of made the platform worthwhile for me when I first started using it. But then you watch the whole video and at the end they're selling you some type of app or some type of ad they want you to go and download. And I think it's like, you got me for real, you got me real good. And also I think I say it's bereft because people just don't have any morals or bounds to what they're willing to discuss for the sake of it being a free ad, right? A lot of the idea of making, like, I remember when people were first talking about how to become a content creator, you have to make content, free content, make stuff that you may not even get paid for. And when the government shutdown was going on, I think it just ended today, but when the government shutdown was still going on and it was popular, and DHS was shut down and not paying TSA workers, people were literally going without pay to show up to work. On top of the fact that the government is just doing all type of crazy shit in general, and folks are making videos on Instagram and TikTok about the benefits of certain flight club memberships or TSA PreCheck or TSA touchless. It just seemed extremely tone deaf for that to be the thing that you're talking about in the midst of everything that's happening in the world. And I get also that people are not responsible for the state of the world and that life doesn't stop just because bad is happening all around us. But at the same time, it's like, my goodness, can we maybe not talk about that in this time period? It's like, in one instance, I guess you can make an argument that people are trying to keep folks informed and share information about what's happening and what's going on. But at the other side, it just feels like the wrong time and the wrong place to be almost self-promoting to get another free membership or another opportunity to sell yourself and sell your platform to get more money. I follow Hannah on TikTok and Substack, and she kind of writes about like her thoughts and things that she thinks about throughout the week. And one of the things she had wrote about recently was like, I don't want to be friends with a corporation. And I think because the way that the world has kind of made influencers themselves a corporation, it almost feels like they're monetizing community, and I don't feel community should be monetized. Influencer culture thrives on brands prefer people who have dedicated bases that are involved and that care deeply about one specific niche or one type of product or one type of content. And if people are able to create a space that feels safe where people can talk about or share ideas or learn from an influencer in a way that is like this niche community that's been curated and put together by this influencer, by this person who is trusted to have like the knowledge, the guidance, and the information to share with its group of people that are their community, right? A part of this, like, yes, they should be paid for their labor and speaking on behalf of their brand. But also a part of it is like, I think sometimes it feels almost as if all the communications that we have with influencers is almost the same thing, a brand co-opting language of a culture of a moment. Because in some ways, some people on social media are no longer people, they're just the brand of the person that they present, which in itself is a brand. And so I feel like we're engaging with not a person, but a corporation, a pseudo corporation, a pseudo company, because this person represents this niche community, but that within itself is a business, it's a brand. So, and then lastly, I just feel the influencer economy is kind of contributing to like this desire to endlessly scroll the internet. Like even within myself, part of it's probably just because we use iPhones and touchscreen phones for everything now, but when I'm bored, I find myself just scrolling. I'm on Amazon scrolling. I'm on Facebook Marketplace scrolling. I'm on LinkedIn scrolling. I'm scrolling my email, like literally just trying to find something to get that sensation from scrolling. And it used to be TikTok where I could just scroll for hours and hours on end. But since the algorithm has changed, since they switched owners and with the nonstop TikTok shop ads, it's just not as enjoyable for me to use that platform as it used to be. But I think the influencer market has definitely shifted like the trajectory of the world as we know it, and kind of shifted the trajectory of like advertising in general. Like I think advertising will always be different because of the influencer market. And I think there's definitely some pluses from it. I think that people have been able to kind of create spaces and opportunities for folks who are minoritized and also just like don't have a lot of access to major corporations to get in those spaces and kind of create better, consumer products for folks. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know that I believe necessarily in the idea that creating more opportunities for things to purchase is something that's worth applause. So I don't know. I do know. I know how I feel, and I said how I feel, but I just think it's not for me. Like, I don't think that I would ever be a good influencer. Like, I'm definitely going to enjoy making money from platforms that pay for just like the general use and engagement you get, right, from YouTube videos, from people watching YouTube videos, people watching your TikTok videos, just as a consequence of people engaging with it in that way. And I'm not someone who, I won't stop benefiting from those things because I think those things are ways to be, are worth payment. But I also think there's a difference of the way in which we kind of decide how to interact with capitalism and monetizing community spaces. If my community space is restrictive from you being able to enjoy it and engage with it, then I think maybe I'm doing something wrong. And one little anecdote about that, I think the Netflix and the podcast situation is indicative of that. People going to Netflix with their podcasts are struggling keeping their audiences and their bases there because Netflix requires you to pay a subscription in order to interact with the podcast. Whereas if you watch The Breakfast Club or YouTube, or listen to a podcast on YouTube, yeah, you may have to deal with ads if you don't have YouTube Premium, or you can get around it on certain platforms, or if you just listen to it on the radio or whatever other platform you get the access to that stuff from. Whereas on Netflix, you have to pay for access to that. So now you've changed my ability to get this at all. If I don't have Netflix, there is no free tier for Netflix. So if I don't have Netflix, my podcast that I like shifts to Netflix, then I don't have access to your content anymore because you've decided to create a barrier for entry in general that results in potentially more money for you, a better pay situation for you, but you also deserting the community that you've built, the following you've built, the people that you say you care about, and the people that you do what you do for. People are more concerned with the money and not just doing shit for the love, which this market and this economy, I guess we all gotta kind of be as concerned with the money, but sometimes I wish niggas would just do it for the love. But nevertheless, that's all for this episode. I'm done ranting. I'll holler at y'all later. Get your money how you want to get your money. Don't let me stop you. I'm just telling you what ain't for me. Peace, love, and light.